Hello knife community, Folder here. As you see by the title, I'm putting out a video of my top 5 absolute favorite knives. I'm just doing the video because pretty much every YouTuber, blogger, or internet person sort of puts out videos of what they like, what is their favorite. So that's what I want to do. But I want to start out by making a few statements first. One, I only have about 50 or 60 knives that I own. So, like I said many times in my videos, when it comes to serious knife collectors, that number is a joke. There are people that have 50 or 60 Benchmades, of one particular knife. I saw a guy with 60 PM2s, I think. So, yeah, I'm a small collector at this point. Maybe it'll grow, I don't know, but at this point I'm only really buying stuff that I'm really attracted to, like not just extra stuff just to have it. So anyway, all right, that's one thing. The other thing I want to mention is that of my 5 absolute favorite knives, I have no Damascus. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because a guy messaged me on Instagram the other day and asked me if I had Damascus, and I said no. And it's not that I don't like Damascus. It's that I started off a Spyderco fan. Like, Spyderco was my favorite. And it probably still is to this day. If not number 1, number 2, number 1. I love Spyderco. But Spyderco Damascus looks like vomit. Spyderco doesn't do Damascus well. So there are knives out there today that are in Damascus that look amazing. I just haven't caught up to it yet. But I will. I will end up buying I'm not going to buy a run-of-the-mill knife in Damascus. If I buy some Damascus, it's going to be some serious Damascus. But I probably got turned off early because, like I said, Spyderco's, Damascus is like terrible. And the other thing I just want to mention is that the configuration of my knives matters in this top 5. In other words, this is the Chaparral and it's an FRN. This might not make my top 5. Well, it doesn't make my top 5. But what I'm saying is the Chaparral in another configuration, in another scale, might. So I did a video on scales and talking about how scales matter. Well, it matters dramatically to me when you're talking about my top 5. Because something in G10 might not be in my top 5, but in titanium it might. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So without further ado, let's get to my top 5 favorite knives ever. Starting from the back, of course. Number 5 is the Spyderco PM2 in the titanium configuration with the Flytanium Lotus scales. So specifically these scales, because they're contoured. I mean, this knife I've shown on my videos numerous times, and I absolutely love this knife. It really, to me, looks incredible. The way I have it set up with the clip, the lanyard plug with the Flytanium scales. So this would be my number 5. Okay. Now, my number 4 is very interesting because 3 and 4 have battled back and forth so many times. Number 4 became number 3, number 3 became number 4. And I finally determined that the way to see who wins 3 or 4 in my position would be to take those 2 knives and say, I have these two knives. I can only own one. Which one will I take? And that will determine which one is 3 and which one is 4. But for argument's sake, they're neck and neck. But there had to be a 3 and there had to be a 4. Not really, because I could have made them both, but you know, I wanted to separate it. But anyway, my number 4th knife, absolute favorite is the Koenig Arius. Like I said, this knife was battling number 3 numerous times, and it's just an incredible knife. I mean, it really is. You know, absolutely love it. You know, I can't say enough about it. I've done a video talking about it, so I'm not going to get into that. Okay, so anyway, this is number 4. Okay, my number 3 absolute favorite knife, configuration and knife, is the Spyderco Manix 2. Specifically in this configuration. I would also probably love this if I had it in titanium, but looks also plays a role in my favorite knives. It's not just cutting ability and materials, it's also aesthetics, how it looks. And the way I happen to do this knife, I absolutely love it. I love the borders here, how they match the blade, the aluminum, the finish on it. And you don't see Spydercos with aluminum scales anymore. You just don't, because aluminum is just not the hardest metal. So, you know, if you're gonna have a daily beater, you might not want it to be aluminum. But I just love the way this knife looks in aluminum, and with the Xerte plug. And that's my number 3 all-time favorite knife. Okay. I'm down to number 2. This is going quick. My number 2 absolute favorite knife is my show special Demko AD20 full-size carbon fiber. This knife's been on my videos numerous times, and I really like the technology behind the Shark Lock. Like I said before, I'll say it again. Andrew Demko needs some type of incredible innovation patent technology award or something, because Shark Lock is amazing, really is. To have the strength that it has with the fluidity and the lockup, I mean, 0 blade play, up or down, just amazing. With the fidgetability that it has, it's incredible. This knife with the top swedge, the 3-directional grind on the blade, it's Cruwear steel, and the carbon fiber. I've mentioned it numerous times, but the carbon fiber on this knife is the best I've felt. And I have 5 or 6 knives, maybe even more, with carbon fiber, and none of them feel exactly the same. But this feels really good. So yeah, the AD20 in carbon fiber show special is my number 2. And we are down to number 1. My number 1 absolute favorite knife, hands down. And I also have a confession to make, actually, after I state what this knife is my Demko AD20 in full titanium with the OG original gold scales. The studless design. You can see the difference, how the studs come through. This is studless. I got the shark's tooth scales in fresh 20 CV, backspacer 20 CV steel, and it is just absolutely incredible. Now, this is a heavy knife. It's over 8 ounces, and for people who don't like big heavy knives, then you know, I would understand. But for me, the fidgetability with the strength, and like I said, scales matter. I'm going to tell you right now, flicking this knife and flicking this knife feel different. Just, I don't know, there's something with the action. Maybe the carbon fiber has some give or something. I have no idea, but it's a little different. This is number one for me. And like I said, I have a confession to make, and that confession is that, you know, when I first got this knife, you know, and I know that I like titanium. I was fooling myself that this knife is better than the titanium version of the AD20. And when I say better, I'm going to emphasize my opinion, because there are people out there that would, this knife is 5.7 ounces. This knife is 8.1 ounces. So that, for some people, like, yeah, well, I'm not going to carry anything this big and heavy in my pocket. Well, yeah, so that's why I have 60 knives, because some days if I have on something that I need to have something small, I can take this. And other days, if I'm wearing jeans or work pants, I don't even feel this in my pocket. So, you know, it just depends. So anyway, like I said, the confession is that I was fooling myself that this knife is as good as this, in my opinion. In my opinion. No. When it comes to a big monster like this, you want it in titanium. And don't get me wrong, I love this knife. I mean, I could put titanium scales on this if I want. But I want to leave this in its original configuration because it was part of the knife show. And I want to leave it the way they did it. You know, the way Andrew did it with the grind, and, you know, the way they put it out. I want to leave it that way. So, and I'm done. I don't need any more AD20s. I have these two, and I have three 20.5s. So I don't need any more. I would like to add one more knife to this. And I know what you're saying. Isn't it supposed to be your top 5? How are you gonna add another knife to a top 5? Well, you kind of can't, but this is my channel and I can do what I want, within reason, of course. I'm adding another knife, and it'll be tie with my 5th favorite. It'll be tie with this, so there'll be 2 number 5s. And the only reason why I'm adding this is because it was an unforeseen purchase that I made, and with unforeseen results, and I really didn't expect to like this knife as much as I do. I didn't expect it, the fit and finish, to be so amazing. It really blows me away. I really love it. And that's my PM2 in the same Flytanium scales, the Flytanium Lotus scales, but in carbon fiber. And, you know, I don't really know if is this coming up on the camera? Well, the carbon fiber on this thing is absolutely, it is really nice. Let me make sure that it's showing. It is really, really good. The pattern is incredible. I mean, it really is. And, you know, it has the same contouring here as the titanium. It feels exactly the same structurally wise, except it's carbon fiber. And, you know, I have to add that they did really well with the carbon fiber on this. So I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this to my top 5. So that's why there are 6 knives in my top 5. Top 5 knives. Right. So, as you notice, it's basically 2 styles of Spydercos and 2 Demcos, and then the Koenig is there. Like I said, I'm gonna buy some Damascus. I'm gonna see what I like in Damascus. I've seen some absolutely gorgeous Damascus. You know, I don't want any Ramet Damascus or nothing that makes you sick looking at it. It has a nice pattern and flow to it. So we'll see. Okay, so that's all I got. Thanks.